What's going on? Hope you're having a terrific day. I'm going to talk about why American Christianity, hardline evangelicals, dispensationalists are not real Christians. This is going to be a great video. I know that we're going to get some comments, or not, maybe not, but I think that it's worth having this discussion because I grew up as an American Christian in American Zionism or dispensationalism, the teachings of John Nelson Darby, the interpretations of the Schofield Bible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I would suggest maybe doing a little research before you jump in on a dialogue, or not. You can just jump in and start commenting. That's welcome and open as well. I definitely love having that. But I'm going to talk specifically about why they don't believe the true teachings of Jesus, or they don't follow it. And when you really kind of ask them questions, you realize that they are guilty of the same thing that they accuse people like the Mormons of. So evangelical, dispensationalist Christians will say, we serve one God. Yet they believe in the penal substitutionary atonement theory, which divides God into, you have Jesus, which is this loving, forgiving Savior, and you have God the Father, which is out for blood and vengeance. And that's in practice, that's polytheism, which is not the teaching of Jesus, and it's not the teachings of the Bible, which is monotheistic, one God, and it doesn't split God into this Jekyll and Hyde. That's just one example of how that religion, that denomination, that way of thinking, kind of just folds in on itself and doesn't truly believe the teachings of the Bible. But I'm going to get into some more examples of that, and I think the best place to start is talking about Israel and diving into that. So they believe, and I'm going to explain to you how it's kind of how the framework, the religious framework, is kind of practiced, but they believe that in order to have good standing with God, you have to support Israel. And so much if you question it. So, and I've done this with posts, I've questioned them. I said, why is it that you guys will condemn an abortion clinic for murdering children, but you won't condemn Israel for doing it in Gaza? And when you really pin them into this corner, they won't answer it. They'll say, well, it's just war, so it's just war, which is just a bullshit cop-out answer. Or they'll say, well, Muslims are attacking them, or you don't know all your facts, or this or that, but they never really can truly answer it. Is Israel committing war crimes and murdering children? Yes, they are. It's documented. It's happening. They're using white munitions in heavily populated areas. They're targeting civilian infrastructures. They've bombed refugee camps. They've killed women, children in Gaza itself. They have done that. That is factual. We know this to be the case. So then you should just be able to say, I condemn the actions of Israel. Then they're senseless murders. But they can't do that. These people, these dispensationalists, these evangelicals, they're unable to do that. And that is a huge red flag. That makes them hypocrites. I don't think that if you're unable to, because, and they say, well, all lives matter, right? All lives matter. These are the same people that say all lives matter. Okay, well then, doesn't a Palestinian child life matter just as much as an American that's getting aborted? You say it does, or you say this life matters, but then why aren't you standing and condemning someone that's murdering the life over here? Why can't you do that? That's a problem. So when you push them, you realize that their ideology falls apart really, really, really quick. And I'm going to explain to you why they're unable to question. Because within that framework, growing up in that framework, if you question Israel, you're basically, it's as bad as losing your salvation, really. It's a complete attack on their identity. It's a complete attack on how they see themselves. They believe they're in the right camp of thinking. They believe that they're the saviors by supporting Israel. They believe that the more destruction that happens in the Middle East against Israel is prophecy coming true. So when they see bombings and stuff like this, they don't see it as Israel doing something bad. They see it as Jesus is coming, our Savior is coming, prophecy is being fulfilled. And that is really a horrifying way to go about viewing the senseless murder of one nation state done to these people living in their land. I mean, I don't know if you really look at it through the lens of Jesus Christ, you quickly understand, man, this is effed. Like this is not good. And if you call it out, you quickly, they will tell you, they've told me this, you need to get right with God, and you're going to lose your salvation. For what? For calling out Israel for murdering? I'm going to lose my salvation? I think if anyone's going to lose their salvation, if you can't call that out, if you're unable to look in the mirror, take a real hard look in the mirror, doesn't the Bible say you need to take the plank out of your eye before you look at the speck in your brother's eye? And these people aren't doing that. They've gone too far off the deep end into la la land, that they're unable to even practice what they preach. And you can look at the fruits of America. They say, well, I can't judge a person, but I can judge the fruits. Well, okay, I look at the fruits of America, man. It's in a bad place. It's in a really bad place. If you take what they've practiced, their theology, and you look at the fruits of it, it sucks. I mean, America is a mess, man. It is divided. You have rising mental health issues. You have, really, it's devoid of spirituality entirely. Like I look at it and I'm like, how did they dwindle God, was Jesus Christ, who they claim to follow, Jesus Christ I personally follow, and was this radical rebel who dismantled hierarchies, flipped tables in the Jewish synagogue, literally looked at the Jews and told them they worship their father, who is the devil, the hardest thing ever said to a Jew, wept of Israel, warned of its destruction, said, my kingdom is not of this world, and transcended. After he did a bunch of miracles, like turned water into wine, walked on water, told the Pharisees they were whitewashed tombs, literally was so radical that he got himself crucified, performed all these miracles, like I said, and basically said, you will do what I do and greater. Yes, that includes flipping tables. So you look at that and you're like, how did that get dwindled down to some like dude playing a sappy acoustic guitar, some coffee, and like just, that's it. That's a 45-minute lecture. And then Karen's basically calling people out for questioning anything that like questioning the hypocrisy in any of it. And they're like, it's like they can't even handle a question. That's just how I guess shallow the religion is. They can't even handle a question. They can't even have a dialogue. They can't even be called out without just being like, you need to get it right, brother. You need to get right with God, brother. Well, I think what is happening, what you're seeing is you're seeing a religion that is so grounded in fear. It's not freedom, it's fear. Dispensationalism, American Christianity, American Zionism is fear. It says, if you do not support Israel, you are damning your soul to hell. That's how it's practiced out. They won't actually say, if you go, do I have to support Israel to receive salvation? Well, no, but Israel is God's chosen people. And so you should have. I don't know how God thinks, and only he's going to judge someone's soul. So if you want to go to heaven, you should probably support Israel. That's how it's played out. That's how they break it down. But when you really push them, you really realize that they have added theology to what they believe. They believe in, you have to believe the teachings of John Nelson Darby. You have to support Israel. You have to believe all of this other stuff. If you just straight up say, I'm not supporting Israel, I don't support a nation state that's bombing and killing people, I don't support Israel. I don't. And to be honest with you, because America is so directly tied to Israel and will literally bomb anyone Netanyahu says, I don't support America either. Because I think that they have strayed so far from Jesus Christ and what he teaches that the fruits of America is dead. It's dead, straight up. Like I don't even live in that country. I don't even want to live in that country where the fruits suck. And you look at where the religion has gotten them. You look at where their ideology has gotten them, and it sucks. It's not of God. And when I look at that, I'm like, it's just clear as day. Let's just call it out. Like, Israel is killing people, so they should not have any sort of support until they get right with God. If they don't get right with God, America shouldn't support them either. And we should be able to call this out. I should be able to say all of this. In fact, not doing it is doing the world a disservice by not calling this stuff out. So yeah, their religion is rooted in fear, and it's not from God. It has a lot of added theology in it, right? You can't criticize the Mormons and then say that you don't believe extra interpretations, because they do. And if you question them and talk to them, you could post one thing on Facebook like I did, and I'll have like 10 comments, but like no one actually is saying you're right. Israel should be condemned for their violence. They should be condemned. They won't say that because they can't. You see? And that's how you see the red flags. That's how you know. They cannot come out and condemn the actions of Israel. And that is a red flag. You should be able to do that. We should be able to hold each other accountable as iron sharpens iron, right? Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, peace.